That's the case, let's go ahead and start to wrap up a little bit. We have talked about our 4 games that we're going to see for this week. Again, I'll run them down. We have the Jazz on the 3rd, which is today. We have the Clippers on the 5th, the Lakers on the 7th, and then we'll close out that week with the Minnesota Timberwolves on the 9th. All right, so let's real quick out of those 1, 2, 3, 4 games. What are our win-loss predictions for the week?
Well, we were all wrong last week, right?
Yeah, we were.
We were 0, what did we go, 0-3?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this week
we were all wrong.
Yeah. This week I'm gonna say, man, I want to say 3-1. Man, I wouldn't be surprised if we split them. I hope we don't lose those back-to-back games in LA. But obviously, those are top-tier teams. They're the champs, and what we all thought would be the champs last year, and the Clippers. So I'm gonna say 3-1.
All right.
I hope we get that revenge game against the Lakers. So I guess I say we'll lose to the Clips.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, Jake. What about you?
Yeah, I've always been last week I was the one that said that we were gonna go 1-2, and I even said that there was a good chance that we could have even gone like winless and stuff like that, because
Did you
never
say that,
know.
Jake? I'm gonna go back and watch.
Maybe I was saying that it's just easy for us to either go 2-1 or 1-2, right? And it's the same thing this week. It could very easily go. We could very easily go 3-1, 4-0, or we could go 0-4 this week. I think for sure the game against the Timberwolves is a very winnable game. From what I've saw against the Lakers, I don't know about our chances against them again. Maybe LaMarcus comes back and he starts going on a tear, in which case then, we can beat the Lakers. But I would have to say that we're probably going to go 2-2, but also leaning on the fact that we could probably go 1-3 this week.
All right, Jake, I'm going to need you to say if you think we're going to go 2-2.
2-2. 2-2.
All right. Originally, I was going to go 3-1 also, just because I mean, again, when I think about them on game-to-game basis, it's like, all right, are these winnable games? I think we can beat the Jazz. I think we can beat the Timberwolves. And, it's the same as Josh. Like, all right, can we realistically split in the 2 games from LA? I think we can. I honestly feel like we can – I feel like we can beat the Clippers. I can see us beating the Clippers more than I can see us beating the Lakers, if that makes sense. So
Me too.
Since we haven't, now we do have plans. We do have plans of having some graphics and kind of keeping count of our predictions as the season goes on, and kind of just saying how right or wrong we were. But since we haven't started that yet, I'll be still on the optimistic side, and I'll put us at 3-1 also. And also because we need to win. I mean, if we keep stacking 1-3s and 0-3s and 1-2s, and then it's not going to look good on our record real soon. So I think we split. I think we split versus LA, and then we'll win both the outer games. That'll be what I say.
Yeah, and keep in mind that I'm the one that said that we're probably not going to be going to the playoffs. Josh was the one that's saying that he is going to that they are going to the playoffs. So, I think that I'm honestly not super upset over some of these losses, but at the same time, there's a couple things that I just want to see improvement.
We talked about that, right? About the young guys, maybe winning us a couple of these games, those close games that we lost, in the previous year. So I'm hoping that as we go forward, it shows. Keldon almost. I'm not gonna say he almost won it for us, but 26 from Keldon. I wasn't expecting him to go off like that,
And so far we've been seeing 25s, 26s, new highs for our young guys, but in losses.
DJ.
But during losses. So I think we're ready to start to see the other side of that, which is like the 20, like Keldon Johnson leads the Spurs to victory with 25 points and
Yeah,
whatever.
and once we start, we've played like some top tier teams, in the last couple of days. So like once we start playing, and I don't mean to throw like the teams under the bus, but once we get in like to the Clevelands and the people that are down there, like when our guys show up in those games, and those are going to be games that we lost.
I don't know, man. Like you've, I don't know if you've watched any of those games, but
yeah, Andre Drummond, I've seen what he's been doing, and I've seen he's been going on. But
bro,
as far as like
it's going crazy over there. It's going crazy.
I don't want to talk about those two guys.
Like no, Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. They're
I know
guards that have been going crazy this.
But I'll take watching everybody. Like I'm taking our guards, and it's biased, but I'm taking our guys over those guys. Like
it's not even like I won't take DJ Derrick or over somebody like Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, but it's still like like you just like even those bottom teams, the New York Knicks have been killing it, and like what are we gonna do when we go play New York and freaking Julius Randle?
We've talked about this at the beginning of the season, which is which is like every team has youth and athleticism. Like that is starting to become a given. You know what I mean? But it's like our discipline and our execution and our coaching and our, you know what I mean? Like that. Like
DeMar, we have the guy too. Like on the other, like on the vet. Like we have the vet that could take advantage of some of those youth matchups.
Yeah.
Like DeMar, like whenever he gets going, like we keep talking about the young guys, and we're not even talking about DeMar. Like DeMar closes these games out. Like he's a closer, man. That guy's clutch. And we've seen it in San Antonio since he's been here. He's been closing these games out. And I think that like, yeah, we talk about our young guys and we want the young guys to play well, but like DeMar, and even though he hasn't had like his shooting, like I think you pointed out, right? He hasn't been shooting that good, and we've been in all these games, So I'm hoping that he'll pick it up percentage wise, and he'll close them out for us.
I think for sure once we start to get a little bit more idea of like where our young guys are really going to fit in, I think right now a lot of that experimentation comes at the expense of some of DeMar's touches or just some of his his time and the things that he normally like is getting done and working throughout the game to put himself in positions to like be hot and feeling good about his spacing and feeling knowing where his spots are for the night, like when it comes time to win the game. So I think that like some of those things he has to acquiesce a little bit to our young guys just to let them feel more comfortable and everything. So yeah, no, I agree. We haven't been talking about DeMar, but man, not only is he putting up numbers, but if you've watched him play in San Antonio for the past 3 years or so, like he's just such a better player now in terms of like how he's helping everybody and all that kind of stuff. And he still has his moments where an emotional outburst will take himself out of the play or put us in a bad position or whatever. But the Spurs have been living and learning to understand like their players, and like Manu had things about him that made you want to rip your hair out, and you learn to take all of them. So I think we've been doing that with DeMar now for the past couple of years. So yeah, he's been holding it down for us for sure, especially if we're going to be getting more in and out from LA in terms of his health or any of that kind of stuff. Then more kudos to DeMar for stepping in and just being real consistent for us like since he showed up.
For sure. And I only just want to add this to what or kind of contrast from what Josh was saying. Like yeah, you're talking about like our vets and stuff like that, which is all nice, and it is going to be able to beat some of the young teams, but like the young teams that are on the lower end, like there are going to be those times where we do lose to a team that's fighting for that 8th seed because they're a young team and like they have a young player that's going to be a superstar, like or even like a team that has a solid mix of young players and vets, like honestly like this Utah team, and I think that we have a good chance at beating them, but like they have a solid mix, they have a good mix of young players that bring the energy, that bring the tenacity for them, and then they have some vets that bring it in to help finish things out.
Yeah.
So
I agree. There's a lot of teams that are in very similar positions as us, right? So it's like, all right, what are we going to do to stand out and to take some of
yeah,
those
for
matches
sure.
from them?